Why is my water heater relief valve leaking, and is it something I can actually fix myself? If that is the question you typed in with a little silver valve dripping down the side of your tank as you watch, you are about to get a straight answer. You are standing there looking at water running down a pipe toward the floor, trying to figure out if this is a $10 fix or the front edge of an expensive problem. But before you do anything, one fact reframes this whole problem. That valve is probably not what broke. It is a safety device, and most of the time it is leaking because it is doing its job perfectly. Something else in the system is pushing the tank past the limit, and that valve is simply the only thing letting the pressure out. So if you came here ready to buy a new valve, hold off for a few minutes. Plenty of people swap that valve out, feel good for about a week, and then watch the brand new one start dripping in exactly the same spot. They replaced the messenger and left the actual problem sitting right where it was. I have spent a good while digging through plumbing manuals and trade forums and talking with people who chase this exact drip in circles. The useful part is that the leak itself is a readout. The way it leaks tells you which problem you actually have. By the time we are done, you will be able to look at your own valve and know whether you are dealing with too much pressure, too much heat, or a valve that is finally worn out. Let me show you what this valve actually is first. It is called the temperature and pressure relief valve. It is threaded into the top of the tank or high on the side, and it has a little brass lever you can flip and a pipe running down toward the floor. Its only job in life is to dump water if the tank ever climbs past 150 pounds per square inch or past 210 degrees of temperature. Those two numbers are the limits. Cross either one and the valve opens, because the alternative is the tank itself failing, and a failing water heater tank is genuinely dangerous. That is why the valve is rarely the villain. When it leaks, it is usually telling you the tank got too hot or too pressurized, and it bled some off to protect you. So here is the first thing to do, and it costs you nothing. Just watch how the valve leaks. Do not touch anything yet. The pattern sorts your problem into one of three buckets. Bucket 1 is a slow, steady drip or trickle that runs down the discharge pipe pretty much all day. That steady weep almost always means pressure. The tank is sitting at too high a pressure, and the valve is constantly bleeding a little off the top to stay under the limit. Bucket 2 behaves in a completely different way. It is an occasional release, sometimes a real gush, and the water coming out feels hot or even looks like it is steaming. That is a heat problem. The water inside is climbing toward that 210-degree line, and that is the one you do not want to ignore. Bucket 3 is the leak that started right after you flipped the test lever to check it, or a valve on an older heater that just dribbles and never fully seals back up. That one points at the valve itself being worn out. This is the only bucket where the valve really is the thing that broke. One quick word before we start fixing anything. A slow, steady pressure drip is not an emergency, so you have time to work through this calmly. A hot, gushing, steaming release is the heat problem, and that one you treat as urgent. Hold your situation against those three buckets, and you already know where you are headed. Now let us walk through each one and actually fix it. Start with the most common by far, which is the steady drip from too much pressure. Almost always the real cause is something called thermal expansion. Here is the simple version. Water expands when it heats up. In an older house, that expanding water just pushed backward out into the city main and nobody noticed. But most modern homes now have a check valve or a pressure-reducing valve out at the meter, which quietly turns your plumbing into a sealed, closed system. Now, when the burner fires and the water expands, that extra volume has nowhere to go. Pressure spikes every single heating cycle, and your relief valve becomes the only exit, so instead it just weeps a little out the side over and over. The fix for thermal expansion is a small tank called a thermal expansion tank. It mounts on the cold water line going into your heater, and it gives that expanding water a cushion of air to push into instead of forcing the relief valve open. The tank part runs somewhere around $40 to $150. You can install one yourself if you are comfortable with pipework, but I would lean toward a licensed plumber here, because several manufacturers will actually void the tank warranty if a pro did not put it in. Professional installation usually lands somewhere between $100 and $350. The other thing that drives a steady pressure drip is just plain high water pressure coming into your house. Plumbing code wants your incoming pressure under 80 pounds per square inch, and a comfortable normal range is 40 to 80. If yours is running higher than that, the relief valve can get pushed toward its limit all on its own. You can check this in about 2 minutes. A simple screw-on pressure gauge costs maybe $10 or $15 at any hardware store. Thread it onto an outdoor spigot or your washing machine connection and read it. If it sits above 80 at rest, that is your answer. The fix is a pressure-reducing valve installed on your main water line, which is a plumber job and usually runs $250 to $450 installed. Now the heat bucket, which is bucket 2, and this is the one to take seriously. If the discharge is hot or steaming and the water at your taps is scalding, the tank is overheating. Most often the thermostat is simply set too high. The recommended setting is 120 degrees, which is plenty hot for a shower and safer for your skin. Turn it down to 120 and watch the valve for a day. A lot of the time, that is the entire fix. But if you drop the thermostat and the water still comes out scalding, the thermostat or the heating element or the gas valve has failed and it is no longer controlling the temperature at all. At that point, the tank can keep climbing with nothing to stop it except the relief valve. Do not just live with that. Shut off the heat to the tank and get that controlling part replaced, because a heater that cannot stop heating itself is exactly the situation the relief valve exists to save you from. There is also a quieter cause that fits right between heat and a dead valve, and it is worth a quick try because it is free. Sometimes a little sediment or grit gets lodged under the valve seat so it cannot close all the way, and you get a slow weep from a valve that is otherwise still good. Here is how to clear it. Turn off the power or gas and the cold water supply and put a bucket under the discharge pipe. Be careful because the water that comes out will be scalding hot. Now flip the test lever wide open a couple of times to flush whatever is stuck off the seat. If it snaps shut clean afterward, you just saved yourself a repair. If it keeps dripping, the seat is damaged and the valve needs to go. Which brings us to bucket 3, the worn out valve. These do not last forever. The spring inside weakens and the seat erodes over 3 to 5 years or so, and eventually the valve just will not hold a seal anymore. This is also exactly why an old valve sometimes starts leaking the moment you test it. If you have ruled out pressure and heat and flushing the seat did not help, then yes, replace the valve. And here the good news is real because the part is cheap. A new relief valve is only about $15 to $25 from brands like Watts or Cash Acme. A plumber doing it for you runs more like $150 to $300, mostly labor. If you want to swap it yourself, the steps are straightforward, and the first one is to let the tank cool down so you are not working around scalding water. Then cut the power at the breaker if it is electric, or set the gas control to off or pilot. Close the cold water inlet valve at the top of the tank, open a hot tap somewhere in the house to release pressure, and drain a few gallons out of the tank so the water level drops below the valve fitting. Disconnect the discharge pipe, then unscrew the old valve with a pipe wrench. Wrap the threads of the new valve with 3 to 5 turns of plumber's tape, thread it in snug with the probe pointing into the tank, reconnect the discharge pipe, and refill. Open the cold inlet, let the air hiss out of that open hot tap until water runs steady. Then close the tap and check for leaks. One thing about that discharge pipe matters more than people think, and it is a safety rule, not a suggestion. The pipe has to run downward and end about 6 inches off the floor or over a drain, with nothing on the end of it at all. That means you never put a cap, a plug, a shutoff valve, or a threaded fitting on it, which leads to the single most important rule in this entire video. Never cap or block that relief valve or its pipe to stop a leak. I know it is tempting when it will not quit dripping, but that valve is the one thing standing between a tank full of superheated water and a genuine explosion. Plug the only escape route and you have built a bomb in your basement. If it is leaking, you fix the cause. You never silence the alarm. So let us pull it all back together because you walked in with a dripping valve and now you can actually read it. A steady all-day drip is a pressure problem, and the cure is a thermal expansion tank or a pressure-reducing valve. An occasional hot or steaming release is a heat problem, so you lower the thermostat to 120 and replace the thermostat if that does not settle it. A drip that will not stop after you have checked pressure, checked heat, and flushed the seat is a worn-out valve, and that is a cheap part to swap. The leak was never random noise. It was the tank telling you which of those three things was wrong, and now you know how to listen. Anything I mentioned, the pressure gauge, the expansion tank, the replacement valve, I have put down in the description so you can find the right one without guessing. Go figure out which bucket your drip falls into, handle the real cause, and let that valve go back to quietly doing the job it was built for.